Episode 11, how did Puerto Rico's modernization challenge Puerto Rican families? Concerned by communist propaganda and its expansion in the Caribbean in the early years of the Cold War, the United States aimed for Puerto Rico to be the shining jewel of capitalism and democracy, showcasing successful industrialization meant to inspire other developing nations. Puerto Rico was to be a testing ground for strategies to promote development and social change, and its success was expected to reflect the United States' new international division of labor. However, the industrialization of Puerto Rico came at a high social cost for Puerto Rican families and their well-being, reshaped the job market, reinforced the gender division of labor, transformed public policies on sexual health and reproduction, and altered Puerto Rican self-sufficiency, leaving them vulnerable to any global change and dependent on the U.S. economy. In 1947, Operation Bootstrap welcomed light manufacturing industries to establish their factories on the island and produced items to export. This shift in focus from the agriculture-based economy to factory production caused Puerto Rico to stop producing food and other goods for its own people. Moreover, these new industries focused on manufacturing clothing and similar items. Encouraged by the Women's Bureau to help their numerous children, women who learned how to sew in public schools were hired, while men were left unemployed. This prompted the Department of Labor to encourage male agricultural workers to migrate to the United States and work on American farms. Instead of acknowledging the flaws and miscalculations of this industrial initiative, Governor Luis Muñoz Marin attributed the lack of employment and poverty to overpopulation. This supposedly excessive reproduction and presence of Puerto Ricans on the island started to be seen and interpreted as a public health threat. This led to a new testing ground for birth control. The Puerto Rican government implemented a policy on birth control, encouraging Puerto Ricans to form smaller and nuclear families. Consequently, Puerto Rican women received experimental birth control pills and, in some cases, were subjected to sterilizations without their consent. Largely exaggerated and misconstrued, these local stories of overpopulation helped shape the theory of a culture of poverty in the social sciences. The culture of poverty was a popular framing in anthropological and sociological studies. This concept held that the poverty and lack of social mobility that many Puerto Rican families and their children faced were attributed to the inherent qualities of Puerto Rican damaged culture rather than the subjugated political position of Puerto Rico to the United States and disfavorable export-led industrialization. Newspaper articles, books, and even Broadway musicals like the famous West Side Story, 1957, presented this distorted vision formed by colonialism. Diasporican activists resisted negative representations and proved that Puerto Ricans were not poor because of culture, family, sex, or child rearing, but because of colonialism and racial capitalism. In other words, Puerto Rican migrants were the casualties of the development and modernization of third world countries.